What is it with people are very generous? Have you noticed that? People really are. People are amazingly generous people to people they're not related to. But people that are related to people are the cruelest motherfuckers. I don't know what that is. I sometimes wonder if it's God's joke. He puts us with people that we don't even fucking relate to. Some brilliant motherfucker, clan oriented type person, not KKK clan, but clans like the Scottish clans, those kind of things. Anyways, the emphasis on family values, save it for some other fucking speech, would you? Just save it for some other speech. Because families fucking treat each other worse than they treat their worst enemies. Because for some reason, we don't have an ounce of compassion when it comes to our own fucking relatives. We don't like our parents. We can't. Moses said honor them. I honor mine by not killing them. Honestly, I really honor them by not shitting on them and destroying them. My grandparents, I'm so grateful that they existed. Had they not existed, I wouldn't be here. So I am grateful for my grandparents. My parents, they just wanted to abort me, but my grandparents saved the day, thank God. Two Sagittarius women who fought over me my entire childhood literally brought me into existence. And now they're getting older, and that's hard. The two Sagittarius women that I live for, my daughters, I can't even fucking see. So I sit here and I contemplate the origin of the navel, of the spirit, of the original humanity, of the thing that is life, after having died already and been resurrected. Do you know what that's like? It's a pretty amazing experience, actually, to die and then have this other being bring you back to life. Like my heart stopped beating. I don't know how long it stopped beating, but I was dead. I mean, I was like dead in terms of I had some reality, but the heart was not beating. And I remembered to tell myself, not verbally, because you can't really talk in these moments, but I remembered to remind myself to breathe. And then when I breathed, whenever I took a breath, my heart started beating again. And then I realized it's really the breath of life, this invisible phenomena, and this God being that picked me up and literally like brought me back to life. So that was what I called my resurrection, my begottenness, if you will. And ever since that day, things have been completely amazing. It's been this most wonderful experience. And the only reason I'm still on this planet is to somehow try to communicate that to other beings who are about to go on to the other side so that they will comfortably know that, well, there is something called the resurrection. I don't necessarily know if some of you want to do it, because why would you want to do it? You might. It's an option, is all I'm saying. And generosity. Well, generosity. That word generosity just seems to keep coming up. They say you can't take it with you. What if you could? What if you could? Would you still be a miserly asshole? Would you still treat your own relatives like you treat them? Like some people treat their children so poorly. Not mine. I mean, my parents just basically were kind of like at the whim because I picked them and they were in high school and whatever. They didn't really have much of a choice. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of these wealthy people and wealthy families that have just this weird, fucked up situation with their own kids. And I'm not being critical or judgmental or whatever, but I'm like, you spend money on all kinds of fucked up shit, but you don't give your own kids money. Like you pay taxes instead of giving the money to your children. You don't have to pay taxes if you're smart. You can figure out ways not to pay taxes. Smart people don't pay taxes. Wealthy people don't pay taxes. But you would rather pay taxes than give the money to your children so that your children could then do what they want to do. And besides this, you don't want to give it to them unconditionally because you're fucking weird. Now, I don't know where this is going, but all these addiction issues and blah blah, which is medically created by the medical industry in order to create the addiction economy, which is just kind of like the service economy that's a byproduct of the non-religious secular idea that, well, we got to have something outside of ourselves to make ourselves feel better. And if God's not enough, then we got to do all this other stuff, whatever the case may be. Anyways, this overindulgence economy of the powerlessness and doodah, etc., this indoctrination, which is not godly. If you read the Quran, you'll get all the power in the world. If you read the Quran, you'll realize that God is on your side and wants to deliver everything to you that you possibly want, and the world is abundant. This abundance just comes like it's like having this cheerleader that you never even imagined you could have, like in your ear, just saying, I love you and I love you so much. That's what God's voice really sounds like. And it's badass. And if you have shitty parents and you have a fucked up situation, or your parents don't support you because they're chicken shit human beings, or whatever the case may be, or because they've got a head full of news and garbage that's not real, if that's your situation, hypothetically, and you read the Quran and you hear God's voice because you earnestly yearn for that connection, your life will never be the same. In fact, you'll never fear anyone ever again. You'll never fear that you're not good enough. You'll never feel that insecure feeling of wanting to consume your way into betterness or worseness or whatever. You won't feel like, well, you have to please other people and live your life according to other people. Finally, you'll have this divine cheerleader that you've always wanted, and you won't need your parents' support mentally. Now, you might need some financial support, and they probably won't give it because they're assholes, but the world is a really generous place. And there's a lot of people out there that are very generous and kind-hearted and loving and want to see you succeed and have contacts and connections that want to help you out. And they exist. And so no matter what happens relative to your relatives, just know that there are people out there that really will help you. And all you have to do is believe it. Believe it. And the Quran is a really good reading material. I would never be critical of Muslims, or I would never be critical of Jews until I've actually gone and practiced with them and read their stuff. And I've gone and practiced with all of them. And everybody's right. And so all this fighting that's nonsense that appears to be real, that to me is not real, because I'm not going to allow it to be real in my reality, because it's not my agreement with the world. It's not my agreement with the universe. It's not real. It may be created for the sake of your enlightenment, so that you will then seek higher understanding in the form of knowledge from sacred scriptures to get peace of mind. And you won't be grasping and clinging and doing things that you don't want to do, and being things you don't want to be, and eating things you don't want to eat, and drinking things you don't want to drink, and having sex with people you don't want to have sex with, if you'll turn to the Word. Good morning. It's Monday. It's early. This has been a 7-minute video. Hopefully you thought it was interesting. See the owl? Smart, isn't it? What if we were all living inside of a comic book fucking nightmare situation? Or not really a nightmare, but we were all like pawns inside this chess game and this comic book thing, and some real weird fucking ogre wizard type person in a wheelchair who either has too long of a dick or whatever the case may be, but he's controlling the whole thing like some kind of sorcerer fuck. And he's doing it because he's trying to write comic books. I don't know, it's just a thought. Peace. And just know that, hey, if you haven't had your pussy eaten in a long time and you really want someone to eat it like it's never been eaten before, you can always call me. 310-981-7606. I will eat your pussy like it's never been eaten, or at least enough to where you'll no longer have that burning desire. I can handle it. I would do it lovingly and enthusiastically, and you would be so fortunate to have me eat your vagina. I just have a natural. I love the vagina. Can I explain why? It's like it has this water pick function. If you really get down and get involved in it, like when you're eating it, and it's like this water pick. It's almost like it has a water pick thing that it just kind of squirts out, like a water pick. You know, like those things you use to clean your teeth. Anyways, if you're really doing it well, it starts to it's like a little fountain, and it's amazing. It's just such an amazing organ, the vagina. It's an amazing, wonderful thing, the vagina. So I just want you to know that on this Monday, I want to celebrate vaginas today, because it's always a good day to celebrate vaginas. Vaginas have never caused wars. The ones that were not really vaginas, that were dressed up like women, were not vaginas, and so they don't count. Vaginas have not caused wars. Vaginas have not caused famines. Vaginas have done nothing but birth the creation of the human species and provide life and water and support and love and abundance to the planet. And so we should cherish the vagina always. The sacred source, the vortex of creation, the vagina. If you haven't blessed a vagina today, please bless it. Thank you. And feel free, if you don't have a place to put your vagina, my face, when shaven, is the perfect landing slot.